Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're gonna build a CNC station that scares you from behind. Ah! Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're gonna build the CNC station which is hanging from the roof. Why do I need a CNC station like this? Because I have this problem. As you can see, every time I need to access my PC to control my CNC, I have to move the table saw back and forth. And of course I don't want to move the table saw every day of my life. Okay, but why in this way? Because when I need a CNC I can just use it from the screen and from the keyboard, but when I don't use the CNC I can just put it on the side like this. Woo! Screen, reveal yourself. Ah! Just kidding, sorry. Okay, let me recap all the CNC work in just 1 minute of montage with a very nice music, and then let's go back to the workbench to assemble everything. Okay, the CNC is done, all pieces are ready, now we have a go for the assembly table. So here I was cleaning all the pieces after the CNC. This step is the post-production. When you take the pieces out from the CNC, you need to clean the borders, remove the tabs and stuff like that. Luckily I designed most of the processes to require the minimum amount of post-processing to speed up the work. In fact, here I'm just using a file and some sanding paper up to 180 grits. Now I'm building a couple of brackets for the bar, which I use as a rail for the cart, and you'll see it in a couple of minutes. Here I'm starting assembling the cart. This piece here is not super clean, so this time the post-processing step will be longer. Here I set the Z-axis on the CNC in the wrong position, it was slightly higher. But as my buddy from Atelier Cube loves to say, it's never a mistake, it's always a lesson. So here I have to drill a hole in the exact center of this plywood part. Then I insert a couple of M8 screws with a couple of ball bearings and some nuts to lock the bearings. The inner diameter of the bearing is of course 8 millimeters, while the outer diameter is 22 mils, and the plywood instead is just 18 millimeters. And that's of course on purpose, and the reason is that I basically want to build a skateboard like this. This is the second part of the cart, which is the exact same of the first one, and I'll add a couple of more M8 screws to join the two sides, and of course some bearings. I have 3 bearings, which is the minimum number of bearings to make this cart roll through the rail. And the rail section is vertical, the beam section is vertical, because this way we have a higher momentum, and that means the rail is more rigid in this direction, in the vertical direction, and it means that the rail does not bend that much. And then I put some grease, some lithium grease, to avoid the sawdust, to lock the bearings and dust the cart. And then I can add the brackets. Now I have to hang the brackets to the wall. What's the best position to drill according to you? Here or here? This is the bracket, and this part here is the center in the rail. All the load of the rail, the cart, and everything I'll hang on the cart will be applied here on the center of mass. The first option is we add a screw here at the bottom. Given we have the load on the center, the wall bracket will tend to rotate, and of course we don't want that. But if you screw it on the top, it still tries to rotate, but it will find the wall here, so the bracket cannot rotate, which means all the rail is more stable. That means I'll add the screws in the top part, and as you saw 5 minutes ago, I created a couple of different slots. The first one is horizontal, the second one is vertical. And this will allow me to adjust the rail, so if you can make it perfect, make it adjustable, and in the end I can turn out with a horizontal rail even if I screw up one or even both of the two holes.
I didn't know that I've been the fool. I've been telling lies about something real, but I know love is based on honesty. Kept thinking how real love should feel, knowing that it's not just you, it's me, 'cause I was made to be free.
They live among us.
I am made to be free.
Okay, here I was already happy, but let's push this further. This is the keyboard holder. I made all these large holes to avoid the sawdust to sediment here, and that also adds a good looking touch. The square on the left instead is for the mouse.
About myself and myself only. I've been like that since I was a kid. I've always put my feet wherever I want to.
The CNC section will also have the screen, so this is the bracket for the screen. We have 2 parts here for the brackets, and those 2 parts can pivot around this M8 screw. Every screen has a standard connection for holding the screen, it's called Visa. Mine has a Visa 100 standard, which means I have 4 screws in a 100mm square.
'Cause I was made to be free.
Now I can finally complete the assembly and lock everything to the beam, which is already mounted on the rail.
I am made to be free.
How cool is that? Tack. Now, how can I move the cart back and forth? My older brother would say using a very practical rope and pulley system, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do, rope and pulley. The simple solution is often most efficient, and in fact here I'm using some paracord and some pulleys.
Well, I am made to be free. Been thinking about myself and myself only. I've been like that since I was a kid. I've always put my feet wherever I want to. Before I saw who I could be, kept thinking, where did I go wrong? Then realizing where I do come from, was asking how real love should feel, knowing that it's not just you, it's me, 'cause I was made to be free.
On this end I have two paracords. The first one will move the cart in one direction and the second one will move it back. Tack.
I am made to be free. I am made to be free. What I need to be free. Still thinking how real love should feel, when I know that it's not